So hello angels and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is just all about my PCOS journey and coming off the pill and all of that sort of situation. So I'm currently in the process of moving house. So I was originally planning on filming this video in a few months. However, I put like a TikTok up, like just a random one, and it kind of blew up. So I thought I'd kind of give some more information here on my backstory and why I decided to come off the pill, the first like 6 months of me coming off the pill, how I'm doing, what I'm gonna do to kind of help myself in the future. Just because I thought it might help anyone who's like also decided maybe to come off the pill or who has come off the pill and going through the same thing. It's kind of nice to find unity and those sorts of things. Obviously I don't want to influence anyone to come off the pill or make any health choices. Obviously I'm not a doctor, and obviously you should speak to your health care provider, whether that's the GP, doctor, gynae, or like someone holistically. At the end of the day, I think you're the best person to make decisions for your own body with the advice of professionals. And yeah, don't just do stuff because you see someone online do it because that's what feels right for you. Disclaimer over, let's just get into it. So I got my period quite young. I think I was around 9 or 10 when I first got it, and it was pretty regular, like clockwork, every single month. Bright red. It was like moderately heavy, I would say. Like I kind of describe my heaviness with what pads I use. So I use like the Always ones with the wings in the day, and I'd have to change them every few hours, and then one of the night ones for the night, and that was just kind of standard for me. And yeah, it just came every month. And then when I hit 13, I went through a lot of stuff. I have gone into it in kind of a different context in my fitness journey video, but basically I gained lots of weight rapidly. I did deal with depression and mental health stuff as well. I was binge eating, but also my hair got really dark. A lot of my like facial hair, my arm hair got darker as well. And I just went through like loads of different hormonal changes. I also lost my period for around 9 months at this point. So I went to the doctors and they'd misdiagnosed me with stomach migraine first, which just was annoying. And they gave me muscle relaxants, which actually ended up relaxing my esophageal sphincter. So now I've got acid reflux for the rest of my life and heartburn. Love that for me. But eventually I did go for one of many blood tests, and my sister had gone for a scan. My sister's 5 years older than me and just been diagnosed with PCOS. Again, I'm going to shout it out here, but my big sister has an amazing video on PCOS, which is super informative. So if you want to hear about her journey, I'll link it up wherever it goes. But basically from her diagnosis, obviously it's a genetic disorder. So my mum marched me into the doctors and was like, her sister's just been diagnosed with PCOS. Can you look on her blood test result and look for this, please? Because she has the symptoms of this, but you guys aren't even looking into it. And they said, yeah, my hormones were just in the kind of off balance range. Obviously your hormones do change over your cycle. So we didn't know if I just had a really mild form, or if it was just like at that point in my cycle, range just happened to be lower. We don't know. But yeah, they said I basically just was over the threshold of having it, which is why they didn't flag it up apparently. So we started going with treatment for that. The standard treatment for PCOS back then was the pill. I suffer with migraines and headaches due to having enlarged pupils, so I got put on the mini pill. The mini pill is a pill you take all the time. You never have breaks from it, and you have breakthrough bleeds. Or you can just completely lose your period. It's completely different for different people. But we were hoping with me that I would have a continuous period, like every 28 days period, like regular cycle sort of situation. So that happened for about 2-3 months, I'd say. And then my period stopped again. So I got it back, and then it stopped. Went back to the doctors and they said, okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put you on the next stage up. So originally I was on Sorel, and then I was getting put on Gederel. I know a lot of people get put on the pill my sister was on, which was Regevedon, but that was too high in estrogen or progesterone. I can't remember which one, whichever one causes the migraine. It was too high in that. Basically, the reason you've got to be careful with your like estrogen intake when you're on the pill is from my understanding, it can cause blood clots and deep vein thrombosis, which can obviously like travel to your brain and cause like serious problems. And the telltale sign of these blood clots is having headaches and migraines. But if you get them regularly just anyway, like I do, then you won't be able to tell the difference. Like it won't be like, oh, suddenly I'm getting more headaches. You'll just be like, oh, could be my eyes, could be anything. So they like to keep you on the lowest estrogen possible to like minimize the chance of it happening, because you won't be able to pick up on it as easy, if that makes sense. So yeah, I got put on this pill and it worked for me. I was on it from when I was 13 to lockdown 2020. So I was 2020, like 2020 and 21. Oh, sorry, I got really itchy nose. We're moving house, there's just dust everywhere. So sorry if I'm like itching my nose and stuff at some points. But yeah, throughout this few years, I did have like a couple months where like I'd miss my period here and there for 1 month just because of stress, or when I did have eating problems, it kind of got a bit funny there for a minute. But for the most part, red, pretty normal. My period actually lightened. I would have next to no period pain. Like I'd get some pangs here and then, but it wasn't too bad, to be honest. I was very lucky, especially compared to some of my friends. Like, oh my god, I don't know how they do it. But I'd have like an always daily without the wings for the day, and I would only have to change it like every 6 or so hours. Like if I left it, I was at work or something, it would be like 7-8 hours maybe before it needed changing. Obviously I would change it more regularly every time I went to the toilet, and then I just have one of those same things for the night. Towards the beginning and end of my period, I could just have it always daily, like the panty liner things. Like I was super light, so that was like great for me. Obviously I don't know how much was the pill and how much was me, because I was on the pill throughout puberty, but I never had acne. Like I would just have like one odd spot. I'd never have more than one spot at once. I've always had quite a big chest, so I was a 32G or 32G, something like that. At my biggest chest size, my weight, I kind of went up and down like a yo-yo until I had my eating problems, and then since then I lost weight, gained it, and I kind of stayed between an 8 to 10. That didn't really change. Like it's not like I went on the pill and like lost loads of weight or gained loads of weight like some people. And then hormonally, I was going through puberty. I felt, everyone said that I was a lot more like calm and less hot-headed, but at the same time I was going through puberty. So I don't know how much that was me and how much was the pill. That's the thing that was quite confusing. But anyway, in lockdown, I rang up to get a renewed prescription of my pill, and I was staying at my boyfriend's house in Wales, and the doctor said to me, oh, you can just start taking your pill continuously, like never having a break. Every 3 weeks you have the break and you have your period. She just told me to keep taking it, which is what my friend was doing at the time. But I did say to her on the phone, I was like, well, I have PCOS, is this going to affect me at all? And she was like, no, recent studies have shown like it's absolutely healthy to do this. So I was thinking, oh, okay, well, I'm staying at Sean's all the time, so, you know, the less periods, the better, really. Like, I'll just, you know, keep using it. In terms of like contraception and stuff, obviously that's like much better. However, when I did get my next breakthrough bleed, while I was taking it continuously, my period was like black sludge, like tar. It was so dark, it was so heavy, it was just really I was really ill, and it was just really not a nice experience. So I rang up and I talked to her, and she was like, oh, I'm sure that's normal, just carry on what you're doing. But I was like, no, like me and my boyfriend and my mum spoke about it, and I was like, I'm just gonna start going back to how I was taking it, because that just like is not for me. Like I don't really want these heavy dark periods, and like if it's not broken, don't fix it. That was kind of my mentality. So I just went back to having my week break, but these dark sludgy periods with a lot of pain were still happening every month, which obviously wasn't that great. I stopped taking the pill for the rest of lockdown because I'd run out, and I was like, oh, I can't be arsed doing this again. So I just stopped taking the pill. When I get home, I go and see the doctor, get more of the pill, and I just start taking it regularly again, because I just don't think I was like mentally ready to fully come off the pill yet, and it just didn't seem like a good time for me. Like I was doing all my exams and stuff, so it was just like, oh, I'll just go back on it, you know, over the summer and stuff. I think a lot of it as well was me being scared to put weight back on, because obviously, like, even though I don't think it was the pill, I have lost a lot of weight since I went on it. So, you know, like from start to end, I've lost weight. I don't think it was the effects of the pill that did that, but I think part of me that has been like stressed over weight gain and stuff was like, oh my god, like if you come off it, you're gonna gain all that weight back. Anyway, so I was like, I went back on it, but I was still having these like dark periods. They lightened up a bit over the course of me taking it regularly again, but it was always like sludgy and brown, and then it might be red for like a couple days and then go back to sludgy brown. Like it was never what it was, and it just didn't feel healthy. But I stayed on it, and then fast forward to May 2021, my boyfriend went on a 6-month tour with work, so he was away. So I decided to myself, I was like, right, I am ready to come off the pill now. At this point, I'd started seeing an acupuncture lady, so she specialises in Chinese medicine, and she was helping me with like my mental health and everything, but we also spoke about this, and she said she'd support me through it. When he went away, I stopped taking the pill, and obviously you have your first withdrawal bleed, that will just come normal, and then you stop taking the pill. The month later, it was like a couple days late, and it still hadn't happened. So I went to acupuncture, and she said she did one that kind of like cleansed my body, like got everything, all the toxins out that it needed to, and the next morning I got my period. You could say it's a coincidence if you don't want to believe it, but I thought that was pretty cool. I was pretty gassed. So I had that period, I had the next period as well, and then I missed one. So I've had 1, 2, 3, missed number 4, had number 5, missed number 6, had number 7. So we're in the month of November now. When I moved to uni in September as well, I started getting loads and loads of really nasty side effects, which you will have seen in my like moving in videos. Oh my god, but I didn't even go into half of it, right? So I had my eye allergic reaction, I had breakouts, which I'm still having right now. So all of this, which isn't a lot to some people, but it's a lot for me. I've also got one here, one on the side of my nose, one down here as well, like just all this kind of spot situation flaring up, which I've never had before. And then I started getting spots on my chest and my back as well, which I've never had spots on my chest before in my life, not even one. Whereas my back, I used to have like very like kind of like this, like not too bad, but a little bit of acne on my back when I was like 12, so the beginning stages of puberty, but you can kind of see them. I have got some freckles and stuff on there as well, but the sun from holiday cleared it up quite a lot, but I do have little flare outs and breakouts where it's super red. I also started getting almost like, I don't know, all these scabs on my scalp, which my sister has told me that her and my mum also get, and it's kind of like linked to psoriasis, but like all these hard bits on your scalp. I've never had that before, so it must be something to do like hormonally, and that's been since I went to uni. I've started using like hair syrup for that, so like an oil to kind of condition my scalp to try and help. But yeah, that's not been fun. My hair was falling out at one point, but I don't know if that was the effects of the pill or stress. And my boobs have definitely shrunk. So like I say, I was like a 30-32G, whereas now I'm looking at like an FFF, so not shrunk by lots. They're still quite big, but not as big as they were. So there's that as well. In terms of weight, I've pretty much stayed the same. My facial hair started coming in dark again, so my eyebrows have definitely darkened up a lot. And I shaved my face, but I've also started getting some like moustachey hairs back. I've noticed on my thighs as well, like darker hairs started growing, where it used to be kind of, when I was on the pill, it was all like white. It started getting darker again, which is kind of strange. It's just kind of mad to me how much your body like changes just from hormones. But yeah, they're basically the side effects that I've noticed. My last period was in November, and then I didn't get one for 3 months. So all over Christmas and everything, I didn't have a period. Obviously this has been impacting my mental health, because every day that I wake up and I haven't had a period, like I know I haven't ovulated that month. And for me, like fertility is such a big deal. Like one thing I've always wanted to be above anything else is a mother, and to like bear my own children myself. Like obviously I know you can adopt and be a mother in so many different ways and have like surrogates and stuff, but for me, like, and a lot of women, it is such like a special experience to be pregnant and to have children. So it's just like such a difficult thing to grasp, but that you may never experience this. And although I would never think of anyone else, it kind of creates this feeling of like unworthiness, like why am I not able to do like the one thing my body's like made to do? Like your survival instinct over anything else wants you to have kids, so why can't my body do that? Does that make sense? But I would never think about it anyone else. Like if someone told me they're infertile, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, you can't have kids. But you kind of have that like shame and judgment towards yourself, which is just not nice. So I've been dealing with that. Anyway, because of all this like hormonal stuff, I went home and spoke to my acupuncture lady a couple of weeks ago. I had an appointment with her, and she did again one of these like draw out ones, and we spoke about the whole situation. So I'll tell you the mad bit first. After this whole deep chat and she did this acupuncture on me, I was getting ready to go and see my friend Ollie at home, because it was his birthday. I was surprising him, and I actually have it on video, because I don't know if it is going to be a video. I don't know if I got enough footage, but I was filming myself getting ready, and I went, what the fuck, like I've come on my period. What the fuck? I've got blood coming out? What? And it was genuine shock. Like I'd just come home from that appointment and like there was blood, and it's just like, if you don't believe it, like what a coincidence. I wasn't a special day on my cycle. It wasn't like 3 months on my cycle day, like it was just a random day. I just think it's absolutely crazy what like a needle can do. So yeah, that was mad. Obviously that period was never bloody, it was just brown the whole way through, so I don't know if it was a period or if it was just like old stuff that wanted to come out. I don't know, but that was the last time I bled. From what I spoke to her about, she has been saying that obviously all of this stuff, all of these side effects are side effects of a hormonal imbalance in terms of like acne and stuff, especially at my age. I'm 22 now. It's just like not like typical, like you tend to have it during like big hormonal changes, like when you're a kid. Obviously this is a big hormonal change for me. So she said it does obviously all point to PCOS, and then I just started crying because I feel like that label to me has always been like infertility. And no, PCOS, like having that label on you doesn't mean you won't have kids, and people who don't have PCOS struggle to have kids as well. But I think to me it's just such like a big thing. Like she was like, yeah, it like does point to that. I don't think it helps. When I was 18, I went to like one of my pill checkups, and it was one with a doctor, strangely. I think she was like there for just like a visitation, and she said to me like, oh, you don't even look like you've got PCOS. I don't even think you have it. Because I was on the pill, it was masking all my symptoms. Obviously your hair lightens, you don't get acne, stuff like that. Your body is in like its correct balance because of the artificial hormones that are being put in there. So she kind of had this seed in my head that, you know, maybe I don't even have it. Maybe I'm just on the pill for no reason. So just like hearing that, yeah, this is a hormonal imbalance, and it does point to that original like diagnosis, it was just like, yeah, like I knew it, but it was just a hard pill to swallow. But she also said that she wanted me to take some blood tests at the doctor's because I have been getting some heart palpitations recently, like when I'm waking up. I am getting them at times of like higher anxiety, so it could be that as well. Yeah, she just wants to check because it is like a symptom of like being pre-diabetic or thyroid issues, and they kind of link in with PCOS. It's all to do with like insulin and your hormones because they're connected as well. So yeah, basically long and short, the reason that I came off the pill was I wanted to see how my body was without these hormones. Just as an adult, I have never seen my body just as it is in the capacity of being an adult because I've gone through puberty on this pill. From what the doctor said, you know, it could have just been a hormone imbalance. I wanted to know whether I had PCOS or whether it was a hormone imbalance. I wanted to just see what I was like, you know, and I think I went into it a bit naively. I thought I'd come off it and maybe like everything would be the same. So I was a bit disappointed when obviously I have had these like imbalances of hormones. Been told that I probably do have PCOS now, like that's been a lot. Ultimately, I just didn't want to get to the point where like some people wait until they want to have kids to come off the pill, and like it would be heartbreaking to go through what is probably going to take the next couple of years to sort out my hormones while me and Sean are wanting a kid so desperately. Like that would just be heartbreaking. So I thought if I work out what's going on in my body now and I can fix it and I can get to a good place of balancing my hormones and know where everything is without using the pill, then when we have kids, I will be ready to go, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And that is what the goal is, and that is what we're working towards. So yeah, basically that's obviously like my history up until now, and that's basically why I wanted to come off the pill. Again, nothing against people who are on the pill. I don't think you're not natural or whatever. Again, this is me. This is all about me. But yeah, so I'll get on to what my acupuncturist said. So obviously she said about the blood test, that's a separate thing. But she gave me some recommendations in terms of balancing my hormones. And the main way of doing it is balancing hormones through diet. Now, I've been vegan 6 years now, which is crazy. But she was saying to me, like, on a personal level, like, I really respect it. Like, it's such a cool thing, like, you've done. And obviously, like, your morals are so strong with it. However, I just don't think it's serving you at the moment. I'm not a scientist. I don't know this much about stuff like that, but I have like a basic understanding of nutrition. But basically your hormones and your insulin levels are linked. I have a lot more carb than most people do because obviously most of your diet is based on fruit and vegetables. When you're plant-based or vegan, you don't have that much protein, and although it can't be insufficient of protein, things in your body can be affected if you don't have enough protein. And the thing is, like, obviously you can get vegan protein in terms of tofu, seitan, things like that, all great. However, a lot of them are a lot higher in carb than animal forms of protein. So what happens is, I think this is how it works, this is how she explained it to me, because your insulin is calmed down by protein. I'm getting the protein, which is calming it down, but then the carbs are processed and it speeds it back up again, if that makes sense. So I can never get protein really without having carbs, which is then spiking my insulin again. So it's just like a constant cycle. She said also, you know, I've been anemic since I was 13 really, and being vegan is not helping. I do have supplements that I take, but heme iron, which you get from animals, is different to non-heme iron, which is found in plants. We have to digest and turn non-heme iron into heme iron to be used by our body. And she said that my digestion isn't working optimally because I'm in my third year of law, I have a stressful job, I've got all this stuff going on as well. Stress really affects your digestion, and mine just isn't at an optimal place where I can digest all this iron and turn it into the iron my body needs. So what's happening is, and what's been happening whenever I take these supplements, I just pee them out because my body can't use them to put this goodness into my body. So it's literally just like down the drain, you know? And maybe it can digest small amounts, but it can't digest the amount that I need, and I'm just not getting what I need out of this diet, which is super sad. And I cried a lot when she was talking to me about this, but I think deep down a big part of me knew this. Like, I've been thinking about it for quite a while. Obviously I've had a lot of problems with eating and disordered eating, and then when I was having all these problems when like my blood was weird and like it wasn't very red, like I talked to my boyfriend about it extensively, and he suggested, you know, maybe it's not eating animal products. And at the time I was like, oh no, but like part of me, and I think deep down, was like, it could be. And I've always been like on the side where I'm like, oh, you know, vegan, so healthy, like if you can't do it, like, and you're having health issues, maybe you're just not doing it right. Like obviously there are people who have health issues who, you know, it's just not, doesn't work for them, but you know, there's always a way around it. But just on a student's money, with my stress levels going around, like no amount of amazing food is going to cure a problem with my digestion. And if something's going to be easier for me to digest for my health, then it's the only viable solution at the moment. I can't sit and spend hours making gourmet food when I've got a degree to have. And maybe if I live like my dream life, yeah, I could stay vegan and that would be really great. But I think, and this was what was really hard, I've really got to put into perspective what is most important to me. Is it my health, or is it being vegan? And is it having kids, or is it being vegan? Is it getting my degree, or is it being vegan? And just really weigh up what is important to me, because I can't do it all, unfortunately. And I am one of those people, like I really like going at things 100 miles an hour, which again isn't great for your digestion because you're supposed to just take things as it comes. But I'm like all speed ahead and really quite tough on my body, to be honest. I like to go to the gym lots, I like to stay active, but also study lots, and this is a lot of stuff for your body to kind of take in. So doing that on top of like trying to keep itself healthy, like no wonder my body doesn't think that it's safe to be having a menstrual cycle and possibly getting pregnant, because it's not in a calm, relaxed state where it's getting all its nutrients and stuff. I've not been treating it like right. I think it was a hard pill to swallow as well. Like I've been vegan for 6 years, like it's such a commitment, and it's like I love animals so much, like it's such a strong part of my identity. Like the thought of eating animal products like really upsets me when I think about it. And the worst thing is if you eat it, like you have to not think about it, and it's just, oh, it's so hard. A lot of it also comes from like I say, like my beliefs that it was a healthier way of living, whereas I could have just been harming my body even more this whole time without knowing. And I think, if I'm honest with myself, a big part of it was just continued thoughts about food. Vegan food isn't unhealthy, but normal food is. Like vegan, I can have ice cream, vegan ice cream, you know, at least it's healthier than normal ice cream. And like this kind of weird mindset, like vegan dairy is better than normal dairy, it's not as unhealthy for you. When yeah, it doesn't have some of the baby cow juice in it, but it does have loads of sugar in it and other stuff. Like it's not always so black and white, but I think I've got it in my head that it's so black and white from all the stuff that I learned about eggs. Like I made sure on eggs the other day and I was looking at it and I was like, that is like a chicken's period. And I've literally made myself disgusted at the food because that's such a big part of who I am. But I think I've created a lot of food rules and a lot of unhealthy eating habits, and I don't think all of it has come from a place of like, oh yeah, animal welfare. I think despite all my progress with my lack of restriction, I think that's always been a place I can restrict myself on, because you'd think after being 6 years a vegan, like if I'm gonna eat an animal product, it would make me feel mostly sad, but I actually feel mostly anxious about it, and that's not healthy. You should never feel that way. Yeah, veganism is so amazing for the planet, for the animals and everything, but like I say, I've kind of got to weigh up what's most important to me, and I've done it for 6 years. That isn't erased. It's not like I'm gonna be bloody Carly the carnivore from now on. Like I will still eat majoritively plant-based and still eating like whole foods and everything. I'm not going down to Domino's and having a meat feast tomorrow, not at all, but just having like a little bit of animal product here and there just to get my protein levels up and feed myself the way my body needs to at the moment. And it's not been an easy decision. Like I literally feel anxious like talking about it now, like it's such a difficult decision for me, but I just think it's what my body needs at the moment, and like I say, that's what's been recommended to me. Obviously she said I could stay vegan if I wanted to, like that is completely my choice. She's not like forcing me to stop being vegan at all, but she said obviously like that's basically the best course of action in terms of what's going on for your body right now. So like she did say I could be vegan and get through this fertility stuff, but I'd have to be the best vegan, and that is monitoring my macros every day, monitoring all my iron intakes every day, making sure I'm eating seaweed, which the smell of fish makes me feel sick. I've always said that. Fish just makes me feel violently ill, except from tuna. Tuna's fine, but every other fish, just the smell. I can't do seaweed. I've tried to have vegan sushi and it just, nah, not for me. So, and tracking my macros every day, I just know because of my obsessive personality, it would turn into another 2012 fitness pal era days where I would just starve myself. I just think putting numbers to food is just not healthy for me, especially not at the moment, considering I'm making this change. So I think I've just kind of got to take it as it comes. And you know, some people are going to disagree and be like, oh, you should stay vegan and planet's more important than having kids. But at the end of the day, it's my life, and you know, you're only here for however long to get what you want out of your life. So this is the only way I can do it, be able to get my degree and do the things I want while also supporting my health enough to be able to have kids. So that's kind of where we are in terms of that. Another update is that I recently got the natural cycles thermometer, so I literally got that yesterday. So I'm going to be starting to take my temperatures all the time, because obviously I don't know if that last bleed was a period or if it was just like something else, so I don't really know when my cycle is. But yeah, so from measuring my temperatures every morning and putting like your info in the app, that will hopefully tell me like where I am in my cycle and everything. Obviously it has been 6 months since I've come off the pill, which is why it's like, you know, why isn't my body back to normal? That's what the usual recommendation is. You have 6 months of like a period of madness, and then after 6 months, you know, within 6 months your hormones should stabilize, and if they haven't, that's when you should start going back to the doctor. The reason I'm not going back to the doctor, by the way, is just because I don't want kids at the moment. I know they just tell me to be on another pill because that's their treatment for PCOS, but they told me when I went on the pill that this was gonna make it all better and hopefully it would train my body to have a period, when that's not what it does at all. It literally just masks my symptoms, and I've come off and my body's like completely in limbo and thrown off now. I just feel like almost a bit like deceived by the doctor. I feel like part of me wants to blame them, but also that's just what they've been educated in, you know, they're only human as well. But I just feel really let down by the medical field. I think there needs to be a lot more research in the effects of pills on young girls, why we are pushing them. Like I was 13, why we're pushing pills on young girls when we know how much it messes up their hormones, it can cause infertility and all this stuff. Like again, I don't want to scare anyone off the pill, but this is just like the real situation. Like obviously if you want to learn more information, yeah, obviously if you want more information on like the effects of the pill, Google's your friend. Like I say, don't just take everything you see online or social media for like, or do your own research, like medical research, read like the medical papers and stuff like that. There's a lot of information about the effects of the pill. I just kind of feel like I've kind of been like done dirty almost by being told that this would make everything better, and it hasn't. It has just pushed this all back for me around 10 years, and now I've got real adult stuff to do and real life stress. I'm moving houses twice in the space of a week, and I'm doing a degree, and I've got all this on while I'm having all these hormone issues, and this just should not be the case. And a lot of women, like I say, are wanting kids coming off the pill, thinking, oh well, you know, I might be able to have kids now, and having to go through like the emotional fatigue of this whole process, and I just don't think it's fair. I just don't think it's fair. But anyway, regardless, I'm just hoping that this thermometer kind of tells me when my cycle is, so that I can track, you know, obviously your temperature changes throughout the month, so hopefully it can tell me when I'm ovulating or should be, when my period is, and like each phase. The other advice I've been given is to eat with my cycle. That's basically one of the best ways to help with insulin issues and hormone issues. There's certain foods for each phase. I'll put a little chart up here which I found online, and just basically incorporating those ingredients into each phase can help balance out your hormones because of the ingredients in them and the effect on your body and your digestion. So yeah, that's kind of the plan, but obviously this is just kind of a step in the process, and maybe in like 3 to 6 months I'll do an update kind of what's going on. I have decided that after this year of uni I'm going to have a gap year before I do my big scary law exams after my degree, just because I want a year to just try and work on my health, work on me, actually enjoy my youth somewhat, genuinely just take a year out of education, because like I say, I am a 1,000 miles a minute sort of person, and I just think it's kind of wearing my body down. So if I can just get it to a point where I can breathe and it can just kind of get back to a natural state, then that'll help me along my journey. Hopefully, like I say, getting to a point where I'm all balanced out, and when I want to have kids, I don't have to go all through this again. But yeah, hopefully, like I say, this helps you in any way, like if you're coming off the pill, to kind of know what to expect. Like I say, for most people it's going to be the first 6 months, but however, if you've got any like hormone disorders like me, it's going to be a bit of a longer journey. But hopefully it gives you a bit of hope as well. Like, it's not all darkness, like there are things you can do even when it goes wrong, like it's not just like a dead end. But yeah, I obviously wish anyone who's going through this similar situation all the luck in the world, because it is not easy. I think women are just so amazingly strong for having all this stuff, kind of not being treated like a #1 priority in the medical field, and yet still just getting on with it and being amazing humans like we are. But yeah, like I say, I hope that this helps, and this is just a good viewpoint for me as well to look back on in a few years, how it was, where I've been, and yeah, hopefully I'll be doing some more updates, just letting you know how I get on. But yeah, this is probably going to be my last video in front of this background, my lovely, lovely wall. I will miss it dearly, and look, a little pregnant person there. But yeah, I'm going to go move house now. Have a lovely rest of your day and good luck with whatever you're planning to do, and hopefully I'll see you next week. If you choose to subscribe or whatever to see these future videos, or just, you know, if you've liked this, give it a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Comment below your sort of situation. I'd love to hear from like other women what you're going through, and maybe we can just make a nice little section in the comments of like supporting each other and lifting each other up. That would be lovely. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.